Hello and welcome. I am starting up about a minute early here. It is 7:59 my time and it is 6:59 Eastern, and it just hit 8 o'clock here, or 7 o'clock for Eastern time. So we are going to be starting out our live. I'm going to check to make sure that the live is there we go. Show on the stream. That way I can see when you guys are talking. I'm going to check my other screen here just to make sure everything is up and running perfectly for us. You can see right here, I have our stamp set. This is the Have a Toon-Tastic Day Stamp Set. And I'm just getting everything ready. I just want to make sure that you guys can see me and hear me here. And YouTube. I'm over here in the corner. If you see me, I am not loving how this chat is showing up right now. Let me see if I can change this. More settings, size. Oh, very interesting. Well, there we go. I see Joyce here. Hello, Joyce. Can you let me know? Can you hear me okay? Is everything looking all right on here? I just want to make sure. There we go. I just want to see where the latency is here. Just check. All right, so okay, I think we're all ready. We've been on for a couple minutes already now, and I just wanted to make sure everything is going okay. So yep, sounds good, looks good. Thank you very much, Joyce. I will put that off to the side right now. So yeah, so this is our Have a Toon-Tastic Day stamp set, and of course with that stamp set this month, it comes with our Detective Eddie, Jessica Rabbit. I think his name is Judge Doom. The little baby, I forget his name because he's not a baby. There's Roger Rabbit, and then there is the car, which the taxi. Now I forget the taxi's name too. So if you know, let me know. And then we have our outline dies. Like I got mine in a sample pack, so you would be getting yours in regular packaging. And then I have our builder die, and of course I have our stencil. If you want to see little examples, I'm going to throw the QR codes, and then you can see that way as well. So here is the Have a Toon-Tastic Day. And again, for this live, we're going to be coloring Roger Rabbit, and I already have him stamped out. And if you were following along, I did put a list of our Copic markers we'll be using on our social media. So then again, we have our outline dies. So those are also available. We have our Alley Builder die. And then finally, that stencil that I just showed you. So we're going to get that back up there. So I'm going to show you the example of my cards before we get coloring. So here is the card I did with, I'm calling him Eddie. Oh, that's his name. So with Eddie, with Jessica Rabbit, and then with the little crate that comes with the die, the arch, our sidewalk, our lamp post here, and then I use the bit of light coming down here and in there. So hello, Nikki. I believe that's who N Turner is. So I did this one first, and I really loved it. And I used the little hearts that came in the set, and I love that we can always cut out our sentiments now. So that was the first card I did. The second card I did, I used the little baby, and I just thought he was cute and funny, and I used the little stinker, and then I used the stencil in like a new different kind of way, just with the dark and the little bomb, and I just used some old old shiny copper paper that I kind of scratched up, and this was just old multimedia paper. Not multimedia. What do you call it? I am having one of those brain things today. Mixed media? No. You know when you do the inking and the stuff on the paper? Yeah, you get it. So anyway, this was just like some random piece, and I thought it looked cool, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna stick it on there. Splashed a little bit of red dye, and there you go. Oh, hey Susan, and yep, it's Nikki, and hey Ebony. So that was that little card, and I just made it super tiny. The next one I made was using the Judge Doom. I used the grit texture paste and mixed in some color with it, made this brick background, and then I really kind of grunged it up and then added some of that kind of bloody ink, and then wove these little twine in there. And then on the edge, I did just match up the paper. I had a red and a black matching one, and I just kind of thought it gave like kind of vibes like his eyes. Now I did put the gloss on his eyes, and it made it the red bleed a little bit, but I still like how he turned out, and I just thought it was kind of an interesting little thanks for all the laughs, because it's like, what do I put with him? And I thought, this is kind of like, I don't know, it's like an oxymoron or a juxtaposition of what you're seeing and what it is. So that was that. And then we'll be going on to our Roger Rabbit now, because that's what you're here for. So I have him stamped out. I did go through all the colors to make sure that they were all right with what I told you. So if you are following along, or if you are going to color with us, the colors, I'll list them up on the YouTube channel after, but it was the W4, W2, W1, W0, E4, R59, 29, 27, 24, 21, 20, and R is 00. And then we're using our YR09, 07, 04, 02, and then our Y19, 15, 13, Y11, and then our B 28, 24, 23, and 21. And I'm going to use maybe a little bit of white colored pencil and my colorless blender in there, and probably a white Posca pen, as always, for our highlights. I am not going to lie to you. I went and made up a card background already for this card. I'm not in love with it. One, I apparently can't cut a straight line today, so that was one thing. I did go ahead and I pre-colored our little taxi. I thought it was cute, and I did reuse our dies, and I just kind of added a little bit of color, a little shine. When I cut Roger Rabbit out, I decided to use his cutout as a stencil, so that when he's done, he can kind of sit on a little bit of a background there with a little bit of yellow. I think I used mustard. And then I just put some little drops. So I don't know. It's got a. Annie was like, "Is that like a metal background?" And I'm like, I don't even know what I was doing. This is what happens when Kevin rushes a background, and this is what happens when Kevin like thinks about what he's doing a little bit more. So there it is. So you saw it. Now let's get to coloring our little Roger Rabbit. He's actually pretty quick to color. He's probably one of the easiest. I think the baby was pretty simple as well. But let us go ahead, and we're going to start with our W's, because I'm going to start with his body first. And I'm going to use my W4. I am going to grab my reading glasses. I'm very proud of myself. I actually cleaned up my desk, which you can't really see. Oh, another like really cool thing is I know you guys have this. I don't know. You know what? Usually I've been coloring with my glasses, and you don't see me. You just see my hands down here. But now that I'm up in the corner, you see me wearing my glasses. So I'm going to try to not be too ADD, ADHD, all over the map. But you know what? I can't guarantee anything. So I'm going to start up in his ears, and I'm going to use that W4, and I'm just going to put it in the bottom of his ear on the outside edges. Just a little bit with that W4. I'm also going to put it right under his chin here. And out into his outer cheek area where that hair comes out on both sides. I'm going to put it down under his arm here, and a little bit under his cheek right there on the arm, so his face is giving shadow there. And on this arm as well. Now he's going to have a little bit right above his bow tie, right in the middle of his chest, and right here on the outside. So what can I tell you about upcoming anything? Well, I can tell you that, again, for anybody who's been snoozing on the news, um, Annie and Shannon and family, they have purchased a house right here in Riverview, New Brunswick, where I live, and they will be moving. They are leaving Florida. So Stamp Anything is going to become what we are deciding to call a North American company. So it's no longer just a US based company or a Canadian company. It'll be a North American company. And we think that is pretty exciting. With that comes a lot more space for Stamp Anything, which is going to completely change how our videos are. So I'm not going to have this whole schmozzle, I don't know if you've heard that term before, maybe, behind me anymore, because we're actually going to have a fully equipped studio space once we're all set up. So that's really exciting. Okay, so now I have my W2, so my warm gray 2. So I'm going to continue from that W4. I'm going to go over the W4 and bring it up around his ear, and then just into that curve right here. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I can already tell you that some of the new video equipment has started to arrive. Even though Annie won't be here quite yet, it'll probably be end of October to early November, I would say at best. So I went up the arms a little bit. I'm going to go up in that chest piece a little bit, in the back, over his little toes. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so with the equipment, we're gonna have a better front-facing camera. So that's gonna be really nice. We're gonna have this view, but we'll be able to zoom in and out because currently the way we do it right now, zooming is just not an option. So we're gonna have that an option because basically we want to bring to you the best video quality that we can, more professional, just better, perfect sound, like all the things that you want from a YouTube channel, especially when you're trying to learn Copic coloring or you just want to watch. So we want to give that to you, and we have started. So I already know that some of our equipment has started to arrive. We've got brand new lighting that's awesome. I'm really, really, really excited. But we just didn't really have the room to do it. And this also allows Annie and I to work together. All right, so with this W1, I'm going over his cheeks a bit and going up and around the ear just a little bit more, and I'm going to come up on the top side of the ear now as well. And just under his hair here and over. And then I'm going to come under this bottom lip and just above his top lip, and then I'm going to go under his eyebrows a bit as well. And just under his neck there. So I'm really doing this very lightly because he is still a white rabbit. I'm interested to know, is anybody coloring along with me today? If you are, let me know. If you're just here to watch and to see, let me know as well. So my last color is my W0, so that's our warm gray number 0. So top of the ear, I'm just going to start in that white and drag it back down into the dark. Same here, and I'm leaving a little bit of white space in there as well. A little bit in here, and drag it down. Side the eye and into the cheeks there. And around the eyebrow. Top of his arms. Under the neck there. Into the chest, down here. And just gonna want to make sure I got his little foot blended nice and his toes there. So it's just very lightly colored overall. Now this is where I could do this later. I'm going to do it now. I'm just taking a white colored pencil and I'm just going to go in a little bit and add in just a little bit of highlight just where I want it. Try not to break your nibs. I don't know if it's called. It's going to be called a nib. What is it called on a colored pencil? Just a tip, not a nib. The end. I don't know. I'm gonna put a little bit up into his ear up here. So not too much in there. So Joyce said she is watching and learning. All right, so now we're going to go into the hair. So the hair is going to be YR09, 07, 04, and 02. I always have my Copics all lined up to me, and if anybody has colored with me before, or if you haven't, now usually I just write it out. My writing's illegible, so I decided to type it out. I usually type out my whole list, and I usually break it up into like body, hair, inner ear, overalls, gloves, bow tie, blue, bow tie, yellow dots. My whole Copic list. I didn't put the gloves. Oh, sorry. Yes, I did. The gloves are right there. I just can't see. So I usually do that with all my coloring, but it looks a lot messier. I'll give you an example of like what it usually looks like when I'm doing my videos. Yeah, this is a good one. Here's when I colored Rainbow Dash. This is what it looks like. This is when I did the witchy ones. Here's my gem color list. Don't worry, these are all old. You won't be seeing anything here. So you can see it's very messy, and you just, how do you even read those, right? Here's from Miranda Priestley when we had that one. So that's what it normally looks like, and I figured you guys can't read that, so let's type it out and actually give you the list ahead of time. All right, back to coloring. YR09, just tiny little flicks. 1, 2, 3, right into just the bottom right there. Am I going to use all 4 colors? I sure am. Now our YR07. Now that, the second darkest color, I'm going to start from the top. So I'm going to turn them around and I'm going to flick in just a tiny bit. That was my YR07. Now I go to my YR04 and I'll try to recenter on the screen. So the YR04, I'm just going to come up a bit from the bottom. So there's only that tiny little bit of white space left, and that is where I'm going to use my final color, my YR02. And that I can just place right in there. So this gives me just very, very subtle color shifts without over blending. So now we've got his body done, we've got his hair done. So now I'm going to do his inner ear. And with his inner ear, I'm going to use our E04, which is our normal starting color when we do Caucasian skin tones. So E04 is our lipstick natural. So I'm going to put that right into the bottom of his ear. And I'm just going to follow it up and out just a little. And I'm putting it still to the outside edge. So that was our E04. Now we're going to go in with our R21. We just sometimes use as a cheek color, as is our next one, which is the R20. So I'm going to go over my E04 and then slightly extend up to that inner tip on the inside there. Same on this side. Yeah, okay, so truth. This is truth time. You may also know, or may not, I always pick my colors first. Always, always, always. I don't ever just sit here and start grabbing colors, I always look at my image first and I decide how I want it colored. I label everything, like go pick, and then I color. So when I gave you this color list, when I put it out there, I had never actually used any of these together to color. So, which, and I don't usually, but today I was like, okay, let's just go check. So I did do a pre-color earlier today to make sure that everything was going to turn out okay, and I didn't just like pick these colors out of nowhere. So yeah, so now you know. Kevin likes to pick colors from the rainbow without even using them to color first, and I just go ahead. So that's my R20. I'm just putting it on the upper part of the inner ear, and then my R00, which is our pinkish white, is going to come in right from the top there, and then it's going to blend this all down. And two, I like to use a lot of colors when I color. So I use a lot of Copics when I color. You don't have to. If you want to do one color in the inner ear, you go ahead. If you only want two colors in the hair, go ahead. I just like to see as much as I can, and I really like the effects of when things like blend in together. I have his colors written down in here somewhere, but like all my blacks from this part are different. His hat, his stripes, this coat is different blues than these ones, or some of them tie in. His pants are different. Like the say, I think these are like maybe the warm grays, and then I use like the toner grays. So I like to use a lot of color just to get as much depth that I can. I also, with him, just as like a side note, I use a new technique for his highlight. I actually used a Posca pen. I put it in and then I swiped it across just using my finger to kind of give highlight there. So yeah, I do. If I have the colors, I'm going to use them. So we're going to color. Oh, we're going to color his nose next because I did think about his nose, but his nose is going to be EO4. We're going to do that right in the bottom, just like that. And then we're going to do R20. And I'm just going to spin it around there. And then for his little tongue, which is right inside his mouth and super tiny, I'm just using R21. So nothing too crazy there. All right, so now his overalls are going to be R59, 29, 27, and 24. And we're going to be using our R59 very sparingly here. So our R59, which is our cardinal color, that is going to go, I'm going to be very careful, and I just want it right at the very tips of his overall straps. I'm going to follow these lines that Annie has drawn in for us already. Especially if they're like the black ones, I like to go over them with the color. Now here I'm going to go inside a bit. Same on this side where his overalls are kind of folded over here. I'm going to add a little bit of definition through his derriere and up the side. And just a little bit right in there. And we'll give him a little bit right in through that other leg as well. So that was our R59. So, does anybody have any questions? If you have any questions, if you're still here, if you're still watching, let me know. Ask anything. I will try to answer. Do I have tea? Do I not have tea? Well, I do know every release until December, and I already know next year's lineup pretty much, but that I can't tell you. I can tell you that we have some guest designers coming up over the next couple months, so we're excited about that. Some returning guest designers, so that is exciting. They were super thrilled to hear what was coming up, and I got to share with them August, September, and October because they're going to be guesting for a while. We're also having them guest until October and together because we have our retreat coming up, the Things Will Make retreat. So because Annie will be so busy with that and her move, we figured we better kind of get stocked with people to help us. All right, so from the R29, I'm going to the R27, which is our cadmium red. And all I'm doing is just kind of going over top of where I've already laid some color down, and I just kind of extend it a bit for the most part. And I'm leaving some white space as well in between where I've colored, because that's where I like to put in my lightest colors now. And I'll kind of go back in there because it does look, honestly, it looks a little bit weird and messy right now. But it comes together in the end to give some like cool highlight effect to the outfits that the characters are wearing. So R2 and 4 is Prawn is my last color that I'm using for the red. And here I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have gotten rid of any surviving white. Any white that's left is going to get colored over now. But yeah, I'm super excited about the coming months. I'm gonna say everything is kind of nostalgia based for sure. I just realized here that I didn't really finish coloring his little tail. Apparently, I forgot it. We'll go back in and fix that. So there we got his little pants colored. So I'm gonna grab my W0 actually just to finish off his little tail and blend that in from where I gave him that little dark spot. There we go. I'll blend it out. I'll go back a little bit. There as well. So now we've got his overalls done. Now let's move on to let's go to his gloves. So his gloves are going to be Y19, Y15, Y13, and Y11. That craft room. First question is, what's the weirdest object within arm's reach right now? Weirdest object? There's so many weird. Like, to a lot of people, I got a lot of weird hanging out here right now. From a mysterious little creature up here. They're actually, I think they're like little moss creatures. But they're these guys. So they're in arm's reach right now. And aren't they cute? So they were, those are actually gifts from Annie. What else is weird? I don't know. I got a whole lot of weird here. All right, so Y19. So darkest color. I'm putting down the bottom of his glove and around the part that connects to his hand here, into his bottom fingers, a little bit into the outsides of his thumb there. I don't know, was that weird enough? I also have like a bunch of Barbie dolls. I have Calico Critters, is that what they're called? Yeah. And I have the Pickleweed family, and they're all family. So that's a little sister and brother. There's the mom and dad by me. Got anime figures. I got all kinds of stuff here. Got a little jumping spider. Yeah. It's probably as weird as it gets, actually, I think. Within arm's reach, anyway. All right. Y15. Why did I even indulge that question? That's weird. Y15. Yeah, Susan and Joyce have both seen this craft room. And yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff. I've got like incense, I've got feathers, I've got crystals and rocks, I've got fans and incense and flowers, and I've got teacups and dolls and stuffies, and of course I have my craft stuff. I've got Funko Pops. It's just everything. So Y11 is my final color here for his hands. I've got all the things that make me happy in my office and that make me smile, that bring me comfort and joy. I think that's what you want in a workspace, isn't it? Because too, this isn't just my craft room; it's my office where I'm currently working until I move to Annie's, when we have that office set up. So now that I have my yellow set up, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our yellow dots into our bow tie. So our bow tie, I'm going to do with our Y13. So I'm just gonna dot that with our Y13. I won't get crazy and try and make you put more than one color in these little dots. And then for the buttons, I'm going to do Y19. So the overall button's a little bit darker there. And then that is it for our Ys. Now we can move on to our blues. Okay, this is where I'm going to get crazy. I am putting 4 blues in that tiny bow tie space. So you can go ahead. You can make fun of me. But B28 is going to be our starting color, and the B28 is just going to go right here in this bottom corner. Right here, that's B28. B24, we're going right above that. And in the middle here, so that one did not get the B28, but it's a little bit higher, and it's on the same level as the B24. Then we're going to go B23, right in here, above the bow tie, right in there. Dot there. Dot there. And then finally our B21. And that goes right in the very top here. And then we can use it to blend just a little bit. There we have the bow tie. Now I'm going to grab my little, where did I put it? My white gel pen, make sure it's running. I'm going to enhance his eyeballs, his eye highlights a little bit. That was a little wonky, but he's a little silly. I'm going to put a little bit into his tooth right there. And I can put a little bit into his ear. It's very subtle, so you're not going to see too much of it. But sometimes I'm like, just the little details sometimes count. Or I'm not going to say sometimes, I think they always count. A little bit into his nose, and maybe a little bit into his inner ears a little bit too. And it was that simple. So that was probably a record live right now. We're at 34 minutes and 46 seconds. And I'm going to pop him on here. So I am going to do that. And then I'm going to show you one more card. Some of you have already seen it if you are on our socials. Oh, a little news on our socials. So we've been able to kind of expand them a little bit. So we're going to some like old school stuff. We're going to be on Tumblr again. We're going to start posting to Tumblr. We also are going to be posting to Blue Sky, which we kind of worked with a little bit before, but we're just trying to increase our reach a little bit. So we've gone ahead and made sure that we're able to do that. We're also going to be able to more easily post to Pinterest and stuff like that. So we're kind of doing our best to make sure that we can like more easily reach everybody, because I know some people don't always follow Facebook or Instagram. So of course we're going to have those covered, but we're kind of trying to branch out a little bit as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just peel these off real quick. Yeah, and again, I can totally, I'm not going to lie. Like I said earlier, if you were here, I am not in love with my background here. But that's the thing. So when I create my cards, I think the coloring is the part I'm most comfortable with now. My backgrounds, I'm still a little bit not as comfortable with. At least when I'm making them like, I'm gonna say faster on the go. But when I get to sit down with a release and think about it, that's when I find that they always turn out better. So I'm going to paste and right like that. Yeah, and I would actually have things cut more even. It was just a little bit of a rush day. It was a rush day. But here is our finished Roger Rabbit. I think he's pretty cute. Our little cab, which Annie was supposed to be on. So I don't know. She set an alarm. She's not here. I don't know what to tell you. But that's okay. I hope you enjoyed stuff with me. I did want to show you again. So for those of you who've seen it, we have the Hey 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 based on Fat Albert stamp set. It sold out the first day, so we went ahead and reordered. It should be here any day. So if you were on the list, you get notified right away once it is here to purchase it. And if you put your name on the list now, you can as well. This is another card where so this one is, I was proud of my background. I did the entire background and then I ended up covering it because I was like, I want a slimline card. I wanted to have everybody fit on it. So I just drew a sidewalk, a little wall, some trees, some buildings. There's all kinds of buildings back here and trees that are no longer seen. But then I, picked all my colors, colored every single one. That was a challenge too. I was like, can I color every single one and do this card in one day? And I did. Joyce, I still know you wanted to know about the colors for these, and yes, I do have them listed, so I can send that over to you. But yeah, I was like super happy with it. Like even in his little collar, it's hard to see, but I kind of gave him like a faded like check color. I tried to give him like cool pants, and I just love this set. It's just so awesome, and I just had really a lot of fun doing it. So if you were wondering about the Hey 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 stamp set, yes, it's almost back in stock. It should be almost here, I believe, from when it was reordered already, because it did sell out the first day. So that is super cool. Again, here is today's little coloring of Roger Rabbit. And then here are my other cards here from this set. It was super fun. I love doing this set. And I haven't seen the movie in forever. And I was so excited when we were doing it. So I am very happy that we did. So again, thank you so much for joining me in coloring. Oh, and I forgot, I will put the glossy, and I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been putting the little glossy accents onto the eyeballs of my little characters now. I thought I had that set out to be used tonight, but like other things where I had a clean desk, it's already mystically become not clean already. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you do want the color list for this one, if you want to color kind of like I did, just send me a DM on Facebook or you can send it to Stamp Anything on Instagram or Facebook, or you can message me directly and I can oh yes, here, do you know what you said? What did I use for the glaze on the glass? I am gonna find it because I swear I just found it here. Oh, I do. Sorry, yes. So the glass is the glossy accent. So I just found it. It was right up beside me. I just wasn't looking. Um, so I use that on the so on this card, I just used the stencil to put the yellow behind. I kind of measured where it was going to be, where that light was going to be. Then I ended up kind of covering it anyway. This one, I cut out a new section, and these are actually like a colored kind of like acetate. So I put that, but these are glossy accents that I put on the eyes and on this one's eyes. And yeah, here, I might as well throw it on because it's super easy. So, and it actually stays pretty well where you want it to go, which that was the thing that I was a little nervous about in the beginning. I was like, is this going to blob everywhere? But as you can see, you can kind of work it out just a little bit to where you want to be, and I can actually see where it goes, and there you go. And then you just leave it, and that's the only thing. You got to leave it and let it dry. So that was the Ranger Glossy Accents, the clear dimensional medium. I love it for doing stuff on eyes now. I don't know if I did it on these ones or not. Yes, I did. So when we had our little heated rivalry set, the Holonob set, I did go ahead and I put the glaze on these eyes as well, and I absolutely loved it. So I was like, this is perfect. I think I learned that technique. It was from Kathy Thatcher and her friends that were set together at the one of the last retreats, and they were using it, and I was like, oh, I'm like, do I like that? And I was like, no, I think I really like that. So I love using it now, and I've been doing it a lot because I think it just makes it pop a little extra cartoony. So again, thanks so much. I have talked way too long. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below or DM me for the Copic list for the Hey 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 stamp set and how I colored those. I've separated them all out if you want. And other than that, have a great night, and we will see you next time. And let's see if I can. I think I can. I can do this. Bye, everybody.